Hello, Pisces. Welcome back to Soulfire Tarot. My name is Steve. This is for the month of April 2025. Alrighty, let's get in it. To begin, I'll draw a left and right pillar from the Psychic Tarot cards. On the left, we have the Truth card. And on the right, we have the Firm Foundation card. I'll show you these. We have Truth, the cosmic balance of things, the weight of the heart. A Major Arcana card, the 20. I believe this is Justice. But yeah, the Truth. And then over here, we have the Four of Pentacles, Firm Foundation. All right, so between these pillars, I will now draw 7 cards from another tarot deck from left to right, and then after that, another row from right to left. And towards the end, to kind of bring it all together, I'll do a gazing into the obsidian sphere to try to glean more psychic and spiritual insights to bring it all together. All right. We have the Hierophant underneath Truth. We have the Five of Wands. We have the Ace of Wands. The Tower. Justice, which is also that. I know it's different. And the Chariot. Interesting. One more. We have the Princess of of Cups reversed. So, yeah, let me kind of weave this together now. So, yeah, with the Hierophant, this is kind of signifying, continued learning, rules, doctrine, like an order of things, of knowledge, schools of thought. Underneath the Truth card, you also have the Five of Wands, which is this kind of grappling with, different people coming to us. They're these little gremlinly looking like figures, this motherly looking woman on this path. And there's like all these little people trying to get at her, and she's having to like grapple with all of them. A lot of different responsibilities, a lot of different people coming to her for certain things, and it's a lot to juggle perhaps, but she certainly looks like she has the strength and ability to deal with it. We have the Ace of Wands, which is a prime kind of opportunity. You have this kind of creative fire with you, this energy during the month of April for some kind of powerful creative beginnings perhaps. We also have the Tower card, which signifies swift changes, and a possible radical change in perspective. Kind of possible kind of breaking down of certain structures or, in life. It doesn't necessarily mean like a literal structure, but it could also just be like, possibly like relationship, communities, just like the way we've been doing things. It doesn't necessarily mean like, oh no, my house is falling down because my tarot reader said it was going to happen. It happened. I sue you and your family. Like, no, I don't think it works like that necessarily. So I don't have that much power. I'm just reading mirrors. This is fun. No, I really do enjoy this. All right, so next we have the Justice card. Certain things kind of coming into balance. We see here this lovely person with a sword and a scale, kind of like this Truth card here. This guy sitting on the balance. I wonder what is balanced on the other side, kind of like reckoning with the truth, perhaps. But here with the Justice card, we have somebody who is weighing a decision or ruling of some sort. So coming after the Tower, I see that there's going to be some kind of like something going on. And we have the Chariot here. That things are moving, things are going in motion, and there is is the Princess of Cups. This is somebody who I see who is kind of like following their dreams, guidance, and getting recognition, along the way. And people are kind of like, giving and taking, from like their inspiration and appreciation and things like this. But I'm seeing this in reverse. So underneath the firm foundation card here. So yeah, I feel like, there's definitely some new opportunities. I feel like some new things are going to be coming to you. It might be a lot to juggle, but you might have the capabilities of that. It might be something where, it's going to make you stronger, and applying certain things that you're learning, perhaps from like mentors, possibly. And I'm also seeing with the Ace of Wands and the Tower is like, even though some things might be changing, and there's a change of perspective with this new opportunity, this new stuff, this new energy, creative kind of prosperity, whatever it might be that's coming through, things are going to kind of come into perspective as it's moving. And I feel like it may give you some clarity around like, what is not exactly emotionally fulfilling, or like what's not right for you, perhaps. Or you might find that with this perspective and certain things that you're grappling with, you might find that something isn't right for you. Something that might have been going, that you've been involved with, isn't exactly kind of doing it for you. For some of you here. And seeing this underneath the firm foundations, we see the mountain and this red pyramid behind this guy with this like really firm, hunky looking back. He has the strength of the mountain, that firm foundation, and being grounded, having that firm foundation, like the metaphor of a house or something, like if an earthquake comes and the foundation isn't stable, just, tower. But with a firm foundation, you can ebb and flow with the curves of life. So very cool, Pisces. I love doing Pisces signs. My rising sign is Pisces, so I feel like I should start actually kind of seeing these. I should look back to these for myself. Anywho, next I'll read from right to left underneath these for some added clarity. So underneath the Princess of Cups reversed, we have the Three of Cups, a more maidenesque looking figure pouring her milk and honey or lovely waters, whatever it might be, into this third cup in this field of harvest here. So to me, this is speaking around like kind of a combining of these elements into something new that's going to grow bigger than the sum of its parts. So yeah, I feel like this is kind of speaking to some of you that, in combining with other people or other resources or different things that you have and can combine, you might find that it would be possibly more satisfaction and will give you maybe more traction and or freedom, to keep the water flowing, so to speak. Because if you're running up against a dam, or the water's drying up, like that's not exactly fun, right? And challenges. All right, underneath the Chariot, we have the Sun reversed. Yeah, so I feel like what this is saying, and this kind of makes sense interestingly. So notice how in this picture of the Chariot with these two horses and the sky just blazing out in the Arabian desert, there's all this dust that's kicked up, right? So he's charging forward and just like, woo, yeehaw, but like there's a dust storm in his wake, right? So like as he's blazing forward, like a road runner and just zipping past people out over the horizon, people in his wake are like, where did he go? Like what happened? It's hard to follow. And so seeing that with the Sun in reverse, I'm just feeling like, hey, I'm going to say it again. I've been saying this for, it seems like all of the readings this month, but there's a lot of uncertainty. I think things are really up in the air, and there's been some groundswells happening where it's just like the foundations of things are changing collectively. And so, yeah, with the Chariot and the Sun reversed, I feel like there just might not be some clarity with things about how things are moving, and that might give us a little more nuance to understand this card, the Princess of Cups in reversed, and how that's, how things have been moving maybe aren't hasn't been panning out to be as emotionally rewarding and forgiving in terms of freedom of expression as which we hope. But nevertheless, there are creative opportunities and ways that we can combine these elements, and pour our cups together to share, to grow to something, to make it nourishing for some kind of harvest, so to speak. Underneath the Justice card, we have so many reverses. We have the Three of Wands reversed. So yeah, I feel like somebody is not seeing something here in this month of April. I feel like somebody doesn't exactly kind of see why things came to a certain conclusion about some kind of justice, some kind of ruling or decision being made here towards what is fair or maybe something unfair. And I just feel like somebody didn't really see it coming. Maybe they didn't really take the time to kind of reflect, to kind of see where they were going with things. Excuse me. Whoa, goodness, I've been sick the last few days and it's been a nasty cold, but I'm finally starting to get over it. So apologies, excuse me for the snadoozle. Yeah, and I feel like for you too, I mean, seeing this again kind of juxtaposed next to the Tower, I feel like this might be speaking to you too, with like a radical change, something, possibly coming up, or in the works. Might just not have quite seen it coming. And yeah, what to do about that? I'll come back to that in a little bit here. So with the Tower reversed, we have the Ten of Wands reversed. So yeah, typically in the upper right card, this is like gatekeeping, people or some kind of like, like people of a certain, like it's a club. Like, yo, you want in the club? Give me fish tacos. But dude, I don't have fish tacos. Oh, you need the fish tacos to feed my dog to get into, Satan's dance corral or whatever this room is. So, but yeah, no, seeing this in reverse, seriously though, with the Tower underneath that, I feel like maybe this is speaking to something around, yeah, I don't know. Let me get some more clarity on that. Yeah, I don't know. I just, maybe for Pisces, it's just like there could be something where it's just like not fitting in, or maybe like people, there's just like not money or resources, around something. And that could be maybe partly what this Tower kind of energy is here, because I'm seeing this like gatekeeper, and this is like certainly something where like people can get through things, right, to be included within something and to face this threshold, whatever the test might be. But seeing that in reverse as well with what I just drew is the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, which is a card of luxury, of like more than enough and abundance and like completion, but it's in reverse. So I wonder if there's just not enough of something to be able to pass through something here. But nevertheless, I feel like things are moving, and there's still more opportunities. And again, kind of the reminder of this firm foundation, I feel like that is kind of the trust fund for you, Pisces. Like if you got your own firm foundations, like it's all right. You can pivot. You've got a spine, you have integrity, at the end of the day, what's going to really matter, what's going to really count for you, So anyways, underneath the Ace of Wands, we have the Lovers reverse. So yeah, I think for some of you, it might be spelling new love, or, something to do with maybe like some of you might be breaking free from a relationship, something that you have loved and, had attachments to and bonds, might be breaking free. And I think maybe that's what's influencing, or could be part of this, opportunity here in the center with the Ace of Wands, powered by the glory of the sun and this blazing warmth, seizing that opportunity to radiate and expand into life further. Underneath the Five of Wands here, we have the Ace of Swords. So yeah, I feel like, as I was saying before, this capability to like kind of grapple with what's kind of coming to you and managing, these different interests and, people and things trying to get at you, for better or worse. With the Ace of Swords, I think this is an opportunity for you to kind of, grow and shine in your ability to be able to kind of like cut through some of those things, apply your cunning, your wit, your sharpness, to be able to, make the best out of those circumstances, or at least be, adroit in, learning with those opportunities, which brings us to back to the beginning with the Hierophant, learning, higher learning, legacy, tradition, that kind of whole thing, mentorship possibly. So let's dig into that a teeny bit more. And we have the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, kind of a threshold, a doorway, perhaps like walking through some fears into the unknown, but with that learning and that new ability to grow and learn more, I feel like you can step confidently through this and navigate what might be coming and what might be happening here in truth. So I think you have truth and firm foundations here as the pillars, perfectly applied. That would be foundations, truth, and foundations for pillars. So yeah, one more for Ace of Pentacles. We have the Five of Pentacles. So this is somebody who is adaptive, I see. Somebody who is, it's like they have a harvest time, they've been cultivating certain skills and abilities, and, they're able, how do you distribute that? How do you get that, to where other people can make it, take it, and use it in a good way? And I think for some of you that might be kind of scary, and like distributing and possibly expanding a little bit more. Maybe some of you are, kind of stepping into or interested in taking new kind of like business pursuits or creative pursuits. Business, maybe go together. And you certainly have, a kind of breadth of ability, skills, and value that you can bring in some kind of business proposition or opportunity here. And you might be feeling a little, reticent, scared, or, uncertain about going through those things and some of the uncertainties that connect with a sense of fear around things. But, there might be some guides or mentorship that's available to you or that you can turn to. There's tons of people who have small businesses, turn them into large, successful businesses, right? So there's like an abundance of people we can learn from, and grow with. And I think sometimes we just have to be willing to seek them, put ourselves out there, and be open to learn with them. Whether that's direct in person or, through books, other forms of knowledge. So very cool. Alrighty. Lastly, I will draw from the Wild Mystic Oracle cards, the animal spirits, for you Pisces. Thought it was going to be the gorilla. Nope. But it is the ox card, or the cow card. Moo-hoo. Yeah. So this is the card, it says, of Providence. So thinking about a cow or an ox, so many different cultures, agrarian people, tribal people all over the world, like in India, for example, like, the sacred cows, how much they provide. They understand, like, wow, this creature is freaking sacred. It provides milk. Its dung is fertilizer for the earth, for which all these other things can grow, right? How much it provides to life. I mean, even for birds, it's like it's got ticks and whatever, flies flying around on its back, and the birds will be coming like, oh yeah, there's a little buffet on the back of Miss Bessie. And, it's like, that's amazing. Thanks to the cows. I love cheese. I'm sure some of you like cheese. In fact, let me know what kind of cheese you like in the comments. Excuse me. Oh, that's cheesy. But yeah, to this idea of, providence and providing, so I think for you, Pisces, this is a question of what you can provide in this month. How can you contribute to something? How can people, kind of receive from the gifts and the nourishment of you, yeah. I love cows. They're so sweet. Unless they're a bull. Oh. Anyways, let's go to the obsidian. orb, see if I can glean some more psychic insights here. I've had a pretty good streak tonight. The visual clarity has been like higher than usual. I think part of that is because I've had this head cold, and I'm just like cleared out in a lot of ways, even though it's still stuffy. All right. Great Spirit, may you give me vision and insight to speak and see clearly. Yeah, interestingly, following that cow card, I'm seeing a wagon. I'm seeing this like wagon, kind of like fording over the distance, and like I know some of you probably played the Oregon Trail as a computer game back in the day, like back in the 90s. That was like one of the first computer games I played at school. I think the first computer game I played was Doom on my dad's like work computer when I was 4, and I was like, this game is freaky. I'm shooting demons and junk. Anyways, back to the point. Not to get too off track here. So seeing this wagon of like fording, going the distance. I mean, there was this pretty entertaining Netflix series that was up like last month, like American Primeval, and it was about like settlement into the West and like conflicts with different groups in like Utah between like different native tribes, and then like the Mormons, and then like other like just like settlers with forts, and yeah, it was just kind of like a interesting kind of like storytelling into like imagining some of the experiences of the realities back then. And it was like pretty dire, and like, the Mormons, people think, oh, the sweet Mormons, but like they're in this show that you see them as like vicious and like conniving and like dishonorable, towards like, this is going to be our land and we're going to murder and kill people to enforce that, like even our own Mormon people. And it was just, yeah. So, but back to this idea of fording, going the journey, back in the context of this whole thing of really, like if the wheel breaks, what are you going to do with the wagon? Can you get another wheel from somebody else so you can keep on going? Do you have a spare wheel? Do you have to stop in a town and, spend some more time like trading, to be able to get another wheel? Do you have to give up one of your cattle? It's like, it's kind of like speaking towards resourcefulness, to like make use of what you got, and to be thrifty and wise about your wits and kind of adapting with like what life brings you, I think, and being prepared in the long run, for what may come, and having a stable foundation. Again, if the wheel or the axle breaks, can't get anywhere. So that idea of the firm foundation of having a strong wheel, a strong axle, a good bed to sleep on, that kind of stuff. All right, let me go back to this and see if there's anything more to string. Yeah, so I was kind of just tuning in with the Tower card and asking about that, and something about agency came to mind. Agency to pursue personal endeavors in trust with others, yet agreements can be temperamental, man. I'm seeing like, I'm getting this vision of like an entertainer in like the music industry or something, who had like a certain like deal set up with, somebody at some venue for some like kind of event. And then, they were all like building up on it and like getting going on it, doing promo. And then like the agency that was like, like supporting them and like bringing them in to come do like a performance or something was like, well, hey, actually change of plans. You're not going to be on the, you're not going to be on the show anymore. And it's like, what? What? I've spent, the last like 2 months preparing for this, putting all this time and energy and maybe even money into it. And now it's like, womp womp. So yeah, the Tower with agency. What else is here though? Yeah, two different words, like transmigration and transmission. So transmigration, I feel like there's just kind of like, there's this transmigration is this idea of things, different components that are kind of getting rearranged and moving around, and how like the system kind of works and operates, you know. And again, it's this idea of like kind of like the wagon, you know, like you have to have all these parts and these components of like a vehicle, right? For the vehicle to be able to work, you have to have a horse, you have to have food, fuel for the horse to pull you, you have to have a driver, you have to know where you're going, and the conditions that operate it have to be set, right? But if the conditions that operate it start changing, you know, you got to adapt. Or like the wheel breaks, all of a sudden you got to adapt to that too. So transmigration in the sense of like pieces on the playing board kind of getting rearranged. And for you, Pisces, I think this month could bring up something that is going to kind of like bring you into a possible stage to where it'll be kind of bringing new kind of learning opportunities for you to grow like more wiser as you're kind of going through this expansive phase and process. And even though there might be some significant changes and maybe even some possible disappointments, I hope not, you know, for your benefit. But either way, even if something like that does happen, you know, it's like we can learn and grow. And like, you know, some of the most like challenging or like difficult things that we've gone through in life sometimes like turn out to be some of like the biggest blessings in terms of like personal wisdom that it's contributed to our life. Like I used to be pretty severely depressed and a highly anxious person, and I like hated myself when I was like an angsty 19-year-old, 18-year-old. I was like, I hate my life. I'm so much smarter than all this, blah, blah, you know, and, and like my darkest night of the soul when I was just like collapsing as a black hole of negativity is where like the light got through and it snapped me out of it. And I saw like, oh shit, there's a infinite spectrum of creation and reality, and like there's an intelligence behind everything, you know. I went from an atheist to like a theist in a matter of like months, from like direct, unequivocal, undisputable experience. And that's for me, you know. Like I don't expect anybody else to be like believe it just on faith because I said it. Like that's how you get religion started. Like don't believe it just because I'm saying it. But I'm using this as an example of like personal wisdom, right? Of like how things, you know, misfortune or, you know, struggles, things like that can kind of be like the containment, the things that give us fuel to grow and evolve, you know, to become better ultimately into who we're becoming. So anyways, Pisces, thanks for tuning in. Once again, my name is Steve. This is Soulfire Tarot, SOL, as in the sun. Soulfire Tarot. I have a website. Eventually, I'm going to get all my videos hosted up there, and I'll be available for private readings. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. And if you have any comments for me, feedback, resonance, or anything else, please leave that down below. And if you'd like to follow for more, subscribe. Thank you. Come again. Bye-bye.